Hello. So in one of my previous videos, I said that I would read out loud some of the very bad poetry that I wrote in my high school / college days. And this was inspired by me recently reading Rupi Kaur's poetry book called The Sun and Her Flowers. I was saying that a lot of her poetry is quite generic because they revolve around relationships and heartbreak, but you know, I dish out criticism and I can take it too because I have also written very bad generic poetry. And I guess this is the point of the video. I gotta own up to my shit too. It's only fair. We're gonna go ahead and just cringe and laugh at the awful things that I wrote back in the day. I guess the only warning I have to give is that pretty much all of the poems revolve around depression and toxic relationships and a little sprinkle of suicide mentionings, you know, just for funsies. But if that makes you uncomfortable or if that triggers you in any way, you might want to skip this video. Or if you just really hate shitty writing, then you should definitely skip it. I think my depression kind of started in middle school and then it manifested into like a new pathetic level in high school. First, to clarify, I never had like a boyfriend in high school. You can tell by this poem what a thirsty, lonely girl I was. And the thing about depression is that when you feel incomplete with yourself or in your life, you seek validation from other people. And that is pretty much the crux of all of my poetry. It's gonna emphasize how lonely and pathetic I was, but the most pathetic thing was really just seeking validation from other people. We are gonna start with probably like the worst of them all. I'm gonna go back to the first poem that I could find. This is a poem that I wrote in high school called I Hate People Who Are Happy. Oh god, I really don't wanna fucking read this, but oh. Maybe if I just close my eyes, I don't have to read it. Like maybe this will just be the whole video. I'll just fucking close my eyes and ignore the problem. No, I'm gonna do it, okay? Because we need the content I present to you. I hate people who are happy. I hate people who are happy, the way their eyes light up and shine. I hate how they hold hands with each other and no one ever touches mine. Bitch, nobody touched your hands because they were clammy as fuck. You were gross and sweaty and nasty, and you still are, which explains a lot. I hate how he talks about her like she's the only girl he sees. I hate how his eyes trail across the room and never once looks at me. Maybe he never looked at you because you were always sitting in the back of the classroom, hunchbacked, writing bad poetry in your binder paper. Maybe, just a theory. I hate how the world is gleaming, but my stance is marred by shadows. I illuminate my face with fluorescent lights, carving smiles till they're hollowed. Bitch, are you a fucking jack-o'-lantern? Congratulations, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy your life is bursting with colors while mine is beaten black and blue. I'm so happy you found your missing other that I'm struggling with words to miss and chew. But you don't notice, do you? You're too busy gnashing your lips to see me gnashing my teeth, too busy grinding your hips to see me grinding my feet into the ground, digging a hole, hiding under there, because of seeing people happy that I can't bear, because of seeing people love each other while no one cares about me. You see, you might be blinded by the stars in your eyes, too far away on that rocket ship to hear my cries. You won't remember it as the solar system lights up with you. You will forget it as you embrace the sun. The simple truth that while some people come in twos, some like me are left with none. Rupi Kaur is quaking. This is a comment that somebody left on this poem back in the day. You are an incredible writer. I could tell you some stories. I understand well what you're saying here. I'm sorry we know this feeling. I hope all gets better soon. Did all get better soon? Debatable, because now I have the common sense to know not to write stupid shit like this. Here's the second poem that I wrote in high school, and it is called Wall Plug. So this one kind of shows how fucked up my brain was. You'll see what I mean. She asked if she could give me a hug, and I said, sure, go ahead. She told me that if I needed anyone to talk to, she would be there, as if I would bother listening to her instead. You see, I don't talk to anyone but the voices inside my head, and it's not because I'm psychopathic, it's just that I've heard it all, and these superficial sayings are as good as broken elastic, and don't call me over dramatic, because I'm pretty sure saying I'm tired is an understatement for wanting to bash my head against the pavement till my skull rips and bleeds and lets the parasite crawl out, the one that's been infecting my brain, driving me insane. They say that if the urge to kill yourself rises, resist them, but something's been sucking the soul out of my system, drinking the juices of happiness and spitting it back as a cider of sadness. Sis, are you okay? Clearly not. And I don't think you could understand the madness that comes with not being heard. When I let my story slip and people just gloss it over, but I don't remember my lips shiny and shimmery. I think they're more chapped and bleeding from biting my tongue and saying you didn't understand me. It's not just a phase that comes with age. It doesn't mean that the next time I smile indicates I'm okay. My problems aren't corpses that can easily decay. These skeletons are living, breathing, in need of healing. But you give me band-aids for my broken bones instead of surgery, like I'm some little kid who was just in a hurry and fell. If that's the case, I must have slipped up to thinking you could lend me a hand. I must have tripped out of my mind to hoping you could help me stand. So sure, go ahead and give me a long hug. If that makes you feel any better. Just don't give me your sympathy, because all you are is a fork in my wall plug. Bitch, I want to put a fork in a wall plug just from reading this poem. I'm doing okay now, but it's funny how reading this poem about wanting to kill myself makes me want to kill myself. Lang leave, better Lang leave the room, because there's another poet in town, okay? And she is just so good with words stringing together into sentences, because words mean something. And here you can tell that these words mean that I am a stupid bitch. Now we are moving on to a poem that I wrote in the beginning of freshman year in college. Once again, still pretty angsty, still pretty sad that I'm lonely and don't have a boyfriend. And you know, when you start off in college, you have these hopes of the kind of people that you're gonna meet and the possible new relationships that you might dive into, especially if you grew up with shoujo manga. That shit will give you unrealistic expectations. Let me tell you that. I wrote a series of haikus. Around this time in the beginning of freshman year, I was kind of figuring out, or rather panicking over the lack of relationships that were blooming like one would expect, like the cherry blossoms from shoujo manga. They were not cherry blossoms. They were more just pieces of shit, pieces of doo-doo that I was just like dealing with. I don't know where I'm going with this metaphor. And as you can tell by the stuff that I will read, neither did college Cindy. The fact that I can laugh about this shows growth. It shows growth that I've graduated, not just from college, but from being a stupid bitch. 5 haikus, 1 lesson. 1. Fuck having feelings. Let me be a robot so my parts aren't broken. 2. I still remember waking up to his footsteps and musky bed sheets. I know exactly who I'm talking about in this poem. Why were his bed sheets musky? To this day, I still don't know. 3. Don't fucking ask me about love you have stolen. You should know damn well. 4. A friend I lost asked how I've been doing. I said, who are you again? This is basically the poetic version of saying, new phone, who this? 5. The hole he left was an ugly nightmare at first. Now it's just a dream. 6. So the lesson is, my dear, never be attached. You'll learn soon enough. I have a real lesson for you, Cindy. And it's to shut the fuck up. Now we are moving on to poetry that was still written in freshman year, but this is when I got involved in my first relationship, and it was a very, very, very toxic relationship. Long story short, we were together for 2 years, and I am not exaggerating when I say that about 2 months into the relationship, after that, he started making me cry literally every week. And one of the results of that terrible relationship was not just my debilitating self-esteem, my low sense of self-worth, and my increasing depression. It was also very bad poetry, perhaps the worst crime of it all. We are gonna go ahead and read the first poem that I wrote from that relationship. We have become a catastrophe. Every fight is a natural disaster. Rage spreads like wildfire. Voices boom like earthquakes. Tears spiral like tsunamis. He leaves a broken home of my heart with debris of what used to be love. Wow. Comparing yourself to various forces of nature. Halsey is quaking. Going along with that theme, my next poem is called Naive Boys Who Love the Rain. Naive boys think my cloudy skies are mysterious. They like to play in my rain, jump in my puddles, smile, laugh, have a good time. Some even dare to take out their tongue and taste me. Then the storm comes and they run. They jump from booming thunders, shudder from howling winds, and close the door to block my loud cries. That's why I hate it when people say they love the rain. Because they only love me when they're away from me. This is just so deep. She's comparing herself to the rain. Amanda Lovelace is quaking. The next one is called Why I Don't Listen to Love Songs Anymore. Honestly, I feel like if I just read my shitty poem titles, that is enough to understand the level of cringe. But here I am, making it even worse by reading the entire prose. You might not believe this, but I used to be obsessed with love songs. And I mean blast Kobe Kellett on repeat obsessed. Crazy, right? Obviously, I don't listen to them anymore. It's too difficult. Somewhere between all the crying and all the texts sent to my best friend saying I'm so fucking done with him and all the puffy-eyed faces that whisper sorry the next day, I can't muster to listen to those silly tunes anymore. They've got a cheery tempo, but they make me too sad. Ironic, huh? But love songs are manufactured and auto-tuned anyway. They tweak voices to fix falters and errors, then they come out polished and happy. Somebody should have told me that real love is not that simple. Wow, my phone is tilting right now because even the camera wants to get away from this shit. The next poem that I'm gonna read is called Maybe You Should Settle for Less. Keep in mind that I wrote these poems while I was still in a relationship. Really shows the level of how much of a dumb bitch I am. Maybe the person you're with doesn't have to be your best friend. Maybe the person you're with doesn't have to share your values. Maybe the person you're with doesn't have to be with you when you need them to be. Maybe it's okay for your other half to smoke, even though you hate the smell that sticks to their clothes. Maybe it's okay for your other half to drink, even though you're uncomfortable when it's with strangers. Maybe it's okay for your other half to be a stranger. Maybe it's okay that the person you love makes you cry endlessly for days. Maybe it's okay that the person you love swallows your heart and spits it to the ground. Maybe it's okay that the person you love isn't the right person for you to love. What kind of dumb bitch moves is this? I just want to say that if you are listening to this right now and you are relating to any of the poems that I'm reading out loud, first of all, you need therapy. Feeling this way in a relationship is not normal, and it's not something that you should put up with. Another example of why you shouldn't be like me is the next poem that I wrote called Please Don't Go. I'm tired of fighting these wars, taking your bullets, and bleeding for months. But if you ever took your gun, unloaded it, and walked away, that would be the greatest pain I'd ever face. Please don't go. If I could talk to my younger self right now, sis, it ain't worth it. It's really not worth it. Just read books or something. That's so much better. Honestly, fictional boys are a lot better than men in real life. The next poem is something that I wrote a year later. It is post-breakup. Slowly but surely, we are making progress. I hope my name always sticks on the back of your tongue. Like bacteria, our memories will accumulate. So when you scrape it off every morning, tears will form in your eyes from the way it burns. And for every night I sleep in peace, I want you to toss and turn in your bed, with arms grasping for something that will never warm you in your loneliest nights. Yes, I've heard your apologies, but chose to close the door. So when you scream you're sorry into the abyss, the regrets will echo back to you. The two of us are no more. It plays on, like a broken tape that will drive you insane. I mean, this is kind of bitter, but at least she was kind of moving on. You know, she's like slowly but surely getting there. Now we have the last poem. In an ideal world, this last poem would be something that empowers you to really love yourself and not fall into the same pit traps as you had before in your relationship. This was not an ideal world for me. I got involved with another guy after that. It was somebody who took advantage of me and I had trusted them, which was again a dumb bitch move. When you feel very insecure and depressed and very lonely, especially from a toxic relationship, it's easy to kind of seek solace from another person instead of just seeking it from yourself. It's way easy to do that, actually. The last poem that I will read to you is called The Rebound. There's a danger in sleeping with a friend. You find out he's just a stranger in the end. Pretty words, they trip me up. Then I fall and get my heart ripped up. You shut the door, left me cold. Thought you say more. If I wait, I grow old. Funny how you insist you're too busy for me when my kiss had your eyes dizzy for me. I should have known. Your eyes were closed, the way you moaned. They weren't just for me alone. I'm not a solution to your heartbreak. I wish you weren't another memory for my heartache. You used to fucking adore me. I didn't realize that's what fucking a whore means. I used to swap spit for love, lips for love, dicks for love, but all I got were dicks who think I'm not good enough. Girl, you know, college Cindy was really trying for something when she was writing this piece of shit. It was an attempt. So yeah, those are pretty much all of the poems that I wrote, read to you in chronological order from the beginning of high school to halfway through college before I just screw the fuck up. They're pretty bad, as I warned you already, but if anything, it shows character development. Okay, it shows growth because for one thing, I'm able to look back on this and know that it was bad writing, which I assume that means that hopefully my writing is better now. The other part of the character development is that I can look back on this and know that the problems that I was dealing with were so trivial. And really, the common theme throughout all these poems is just my constant low level of self-worth, which results in me seeking validation from other people. It helped me kind of prioritize my life to see that my happiness should not be dependent on other people. It should be dependent on things of my own making. I can say that I am quite content with my life right now. There are so many other things that fulfill me, like friendships and my career. Now I see romantic relationships as just a bonus in life, but not a requirement. And I think it's important to see that distinction. That's pretty much the takeaway that I have from this. So if you relate to any of these poems, I hope you don't someday. It'll be okay, and things do get better. It doesn't feel like it will when you're in that moment. It feels like it's gonna be that way forever, but it really doesn't, because a lot of shit can happen in your life. My life has drastically changed. Like, I moved across the country, I started like a new job, I'm an art director now. It's crazy. And this is all stuff that I wouldn't have imagined when I was going through all of that shit, because my world had been so limited to just these few relationships that I was exposed to. I wasn't aware that I was capable of better. So yeah, that's my pep talk. Hope you guys found these poems entertaining, at least. I know that mostly everybody has been through a phase where they wrote shitty poetry. So feel free to leave your poems in the comments below, because I will read that shit. Let's just all share it, okay? Why not? I already bared my soul to you guys. So if you have any embarrassing poetry, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'll read it, we'll all laugh about it. It'll be a good time. It'll be a very cringy time, but it'll be good because it'll show growth. Also, one last thing before I end this video, I hit 8,000 subscribers, so that means that I have one more shout out to another small booktuber. I am gonna shout out Stephanie from Shut Up and Read. She is another Asian booktuber in her mid-20s who also lives on the East Coast, works on her career during the day, and then just becomes a fucking book nerd during the nighttime, so relatable. She does a lot of book reviews and book event vlogs. She also does literary discussions and author interviews and just a whole bunch of other shit. So go check her out. She does a variety of video types for BookTube, and yeah, she's awesome. And to go along with the theme of this video, I will construct a poem in her honor. Okay, I'm gonna do it on the fly. Roses are red, violets are blue. I am subscribed to Shut Up and Read, and you should be too. There you have it, my first poem that was not sad. Still shitty, but at least it's not emo this time. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to leave your shitty poems in the comments so that we can all read together and laugh about it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm not lonely, I'm alone, and I'm holy by my own. Yea, the bad days may come, the lover may leave, the winter may not.